My name is Brydon. I'm a photographer based in the north of the UK. I've been making pictures or making images since I was, a little boy, man. So I think photography's always been there throughout my life. It was only really when I went to art college when I was 16 that I started to understand this is what I wanted to do. When I sort of first saw the image coming up in the dev tray, it's like, oh wow, this is a thing. So I'd never seen it done with an image of mine. And it suddenly started to make sense. And then really from there on in, I just sort of knew that's how I wanted to express myself. But cameras I just can't get excited about them as things. I like what they can do for me. I always put black tape over the logos and stuff anyway, straight away. And I never remember what they're called. I do have a digital camera, but I couldn't tell you what it was. At the moment, some of the work I'm doing is made on a compact camera that someone got me from a charity shop for 50p. And of course I'm making the sonographs, or I have been making sonographs and they're made out of beer tins, Inspiration, I don't know. I think you wait around for inspiration, you'd be waiting in your ass for years, man. It comes once in a blue moon, doesn't it? If there's one thing that I do think influences me, it's maybe music. I do listen to a lot of music, especially when I'm making work. Like if you walk around a city centre, you bang some tunes in, you're like walking around a film set.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time, exactly. I did the same thing out here. So I suppose, the music to a degree, but I think if you're looking at other people's work all the time, it distracts me from what I'm doing. I almost don't want to see what other people do. I just want to get on with what I'm doing, And occasionally, there's work that moves you. There's people making incredible stuff out there, But again, I tend to look at work that isn't anything to do with me. The first thing that really got me any sort of recognition, if you want to call it that, was probably a body of work called Based on a False Story. And that really was, I suppose, a watershed moment for me. I had about 20 or 35mm films in a drawer that I had for years and years and years, and I exposed them years ago, and I sort of never thought anything of it. And I thought, oh well, I'll just keep them in this drawer. And I thought of taking them to the lab and getting them developed, but I thought it'd be much more interesting if I re-exposed them. And kind of had the idea was to sort of have a conversation with my past self, because these were like 20 years old. And I had no real idea what was on them as well. So it was kind of like a time machine almost. So I was able to sort of walk along out in the wilderness, whatever. So I just stuck them in a compact camera and started like re-exposing them. And then something weird kind of happened. I took them to the lab, got them developed, and it was this sort of serendipitous nature of these double exposures. This pastel and this presental, and this conversation that we were both having. Conversation that it was finite as well because there are only so many films. And that was like the pivotal moment. It was published as a book. I was lucky enough to exhibit it in Nottingham and then in a separate exhibition in London. I hate that find your voice rubbish, but if I had to call it that, I suppose that's where I begin to understand this is what I want to do, this is where I want to be, this is the kind of work I want to make. At the moment I'm doing Polaroid lifts for an exhibition in Wales this next year. I love instant film, there's just something wonderful about it. You've got these, and then the only sort of single physical copy you've got of it is this one. And making the lifts transforms them into something completely different. So I was working on that. I was working on some 5.4 stuff. Again, that was running parallel with this 35mm point and shoot stuff, which is called Even the Birds Were Afraid to Fly. Kind of about division. Sort of this year, I suppose, especially in the UK, has been very sort of divisive, hasn't it? And I guess I kind of found that coming into my work quite naturally. And it was, not just about that, but again, I suppose starting a body of work, I never really know what it's going to be about till it's finished. I make photocopies of the bad prints, and then sort of fold the photocopies in two, so it's got this divide. So you're almost making diptych within the image, and I was just sort of interested out of the work. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. Any more than that, I'll go nuts. It was really, really nice to be asked to speak to Miniclick. Roz got in touch with me and asked me to go and talk at the Brunswick in Leeds. And it's oh yeah, I'll be up for this, But it was the best talk I've ever done, by far the best talk I've ever done. The social aspect of it as well. It's like meeting the people. We work alone all the time. and it's important for photographers to have these social events, and also the opportunity to talk to people and explain what they're working on. I think that's really where Miniclick sort of came into it. I found that I found it really useful. The social aspect as well. It was a good thing, and long may it continue.